Let's rise. One, two, three, four, five, six. Usually, the Attorney General Mohammed Amin Sawal Usman Aikan, Director of Public Prosecution, JAKCC, PA Williams, Colonel M.A. Seri, Colonel M.E.S. Kamara, Captain Y.B. Kamara, Captain M.A.T. Denda, Colonel M.E. Hussein, Captain S.M. Sisi, Major T. Gaba, Major Ike John, and M.A. Khalil. Hello, all 14 representing the state as prosecutors.
Hello, LG. I'm not for I, Lord, in addition to these soldiers, the second and sixth again. Lord, end the command. A1 Cabo. And IG command for the third and fifth person.
NSK Mansory Medal for the fourth accused.
J. Paula.
M. Sila. And JG Kamara. For
But guys, salute.
Yes, please.
Hello. I wish to comment by making statements giving an overview of what we're here for this morning and for the subsequent days that will be before you. My Lord the Judge Advocate, Mr. President, members of the board, the state file is open address to give an indication as to the nature of the allegations against all six accused persons or all six dismissed personnel of the Republic of Sierra Leone Armed Forces who were members of the force before their involvement in the various activities leading up to the incident on the 26th November 2023. We have the view that these activities and the acts complained of amounted to offences and violations of provisions in the Armed Forces of the Republic of Sierra Leone Act 1961, Act number 34 of 1961 as amended, which will be discussed under various headings. Lord, all six accused persons dismissed military personnel were charged on the 11th day of October 2024. They are jointly charged with 3 counts each of mutiny contrary to section 37(1)(a), mutiny contrary to section 37(1)(b), and failure to suppress mutiny contrary to section 38(a), and desertion contrary to section 43(1)(a) of the Armed Forces of the Republic of Sierra Leone Act 1961, Act number 34 of 1961 as amended. The commanding officers' investigations were concluded by individual commanders, and all 6 dismissed military personnel were referred to the appropriate supervisory authority, who in turn followed up with return legal procedures and referred the case to be tried before you this morning. My Lord Mr. President, the facts state that between the 1st day of May and the 29th of July 2023, one Mr. Shaka Idris Dumbuya, a civilian and a teacher, and a proprietor of a Memorial Academy Secondary School, Kalbatam, and resident of New York community, Fayamambo, conceived the plot to overthrow the government of President Julius Maada Bio. Mr. Shaka Idris Dumbuya established an organization which he named Calamera Organization, a team award, meaning reflection, of which he was the chairman. The organization had several WhatsApp groups, of which he was the administrator of almost all. He added some military personnel, including Major Paul Sise, Major Joanna Kaba, Major Kole Samuel Kamara, Major Ibrahim Abubakar Bangura, Corporal Mohammed Touma, and others. This led to the creation of a sub-WhatsApp group of the Calamera organization called the Security Network Coup. My Lord Mr. President, this group served as a military wing of the Calamera group and had membership of mostly serving and retired military and police personnel and other politicians, including Mr. Idrissa Shaka Dumbuya. It is alleged that it was in this security network Coup, the WhatsApp group, that the plot to amount to a coup to overthrow the government was planned and discussed. All the above named military personnel are said to have been either members of this WhatsApp group or knew about the existence and purpose. Major Paul Sise is said to have led the military figure in this group. In several group discussions and meetings held by members of this forum at different locations in the country, plans were made to procure arms and ammunition to recruit disgruntled and willing military personnel across the country to join the plot to overthrow the sitting government led by His Excellency retired leader Dr. Julius Maada Bio. Major Paul Sise and Major J.T. Bangura received money from Major F.S. Kamara and Major Joanna Kaba to travel to Guinea through Sanya to negotiate with others for arms and to secure arms. The first accused person met with Captain S.I. Cargo, alias Itako, on the run, who is now on the run, who was the officer commanding the Al-Slav forward patrol base at Sierra Leone Guinea border town of Sanya, and they all together with 2 SLP personnel crossed over to Guinea, where they met the arms dealer, held talks to buy arms and ammunition from him. At an earlier meeting in Makeni, Captain S.I. Cargo, aka Itako, had pledged to make available the arms and ammunition, holding including 3 general purpose machine guns prepared at Sanya. My Lord, the Judge Advocate, Mr. President, the case against all 6 accused persons is that they acted jointly and or severally to engage in unlawful acts and conduct amounting to mutiny aimed at unlawfully removing the government of the Republic of Sierra Leone by an unconstitutional means. The first accused person, Paul Sise, the first accused was very much active in the various WhatsApp groups where subversive discussions were held. He attended meetings held in Freetown and McKinney where they discussed plans and how to execute same in an unlawful manner. He endeavored to procure arms and ammunition by traveling to Sanya, in furtherance of his plan to stage the coup. He also made efforts to add the fifth accused person, his girlfriend, Madame Soho, to the security network called WhatsApp group in his effort to introduce her to top officials of the military of the political party. As if that was not enough, my lord, the first accused deserted and failed to turn himself in after the attack on the 26th November 2023. He also went to Major F.S. Bangura, to a native doctor in Waterloo, to get themselves prepared for the planned coup. The second accused person was a member of the WhatsApp group called Mature Students, with first and third accused persons. He created another group which he called NET, N-E-T, where he added the first and the third accused persons. The second accused person forwarded a message on the next group called Logistic Breakdown for Freedom Day. He and others attended meetings at the Worldwide Night Club at Wazak and McKinney, where they discussed the same plan to overthrow the legitimate government of President Julius Maada Bio. During the 26th day of November 2023 attack, he led detention, deserted, and failed to turn himself into the authorities, thereby showing disloyalty to the state. The third accused was a member of the Calamari group, the WhatsApp group, after he was added to the group by the sixth accused person. He was also a member of the Mature, Net, and Calamari WhatsApp group. He deserted and went to Guinea, where he was arrested together with other accused persons. My Lord, the Judge Advocate, Mr. President, the fourth accused person deserted and went to Guinea when he heard some accused persons had been arrested. He said he did not visit Kenema in the period between July to August 2023, but evidence shows that he visited Kenema to persuade other personnel to join their planned coup, as discussed in their WhatsApp groups. The fifth accused person is the girlfriend of the first accused. She was added to the WhatsApp group called Security Network Corps and other groups of top political officials. She promised the coup planners that she was going to be a spy in the intelligence unit of Al-Staff, where she was working, and failed to report subversive discussions. She deserted together with the first accused person and went to Guinea, where they were here arrested. The sixth accused person, the chairman of the Calamari WhatsApp group, where they discussed plans to overthrow government of Sierra Leone in an unlawful manner. He had to recruit most of the military personnel to join them in the coup plan. He attended the meetings at Freetown and McKinney together with other accused persons. He even went to Kabalan to recruit more members. He deserted the investigations of their subversive activities when it started. My Lord, the charges against all six accused persons ranged as follows: mutiny, contrary to Section 37(1)(a) of the Armed Forces of the Republic of Sierra Leone Act 1961, Act No. 34 as amended of 1961. Mutiny, contrary to Section 37(1)(b) of the Al-Staff Act 1961, Act No. 34 of 1961 as amended. Failure to suppress mutiny, contrary to Section 38A of the Al-Staff Act 1961, Act No. 34 of 1961 as amended. Desertion, contrary to Section 53(1)(a) of the Armed Forces of the Republic of Sierra Leone Act No. 1961, Act number 34 of 1961 as amended. Now, say with your leave, I would not want to go out of such of service against or in connection with the organizations against the enemy, the operations against the enemy, or impeding of performance of any such duty or service. For the offense of mutiny will set to enable to prove to this court that the accused incited other persons who is also subject to the service law to take part in such mutiny. For the offense of failure to suppress mutiny consists of the following elements. Firstly, to prove that the accused persons were subject to service law or were serving members of armed staff. Further, that the accused persons knew that mutiny was taking place or was intended. Prove that the accused failed to use best or utmost endeavor to suppress or prevent the mutiny. Prove that the accused failed to report without delay that the mutiny was taking place or intended. For the offense of desertion, which consists of the following elements, and which will endeavor to prove to this court that the accused persons were subject to service law or were serving members of armed staff. That the accused persons deserted or persuade or procure any person subject to service law to desert. For the burden and standard of proof, my Lord, Mr. President, members of the board, the accused have pleaded not guilty to the charges sheet and the burden of proving their guilt beyond reasonable doubt, which continues to rest on the state. I wish to draw my Lord's attention to the case of Wilmington and DPP, which will endeavor to prove to this court. In the case of, also the case of Ons, Wilmington and DPP, and the case of Ons, which the fact I believe is in the bosom of the judge advocate. Further, I'll call your attention to a dicta of a renowned legal jurist, Leone, who quote Milord says, it did not reach certainty, but it must carry a high degree of probability. Proof beyond a reasonable doubt does not mean proof beyond a shadow of a doubt. If the evidence is so strong against a man as to leave only a remote possibility in his favor, which can be dismissed with the sentence, of course it is possible, but not in the least probable, the case is proved beyond reasonable doubt. But nothing short of that will suffice, and that will be our commitment to ensure that we did not bore you unnecessarily or waste the commercial's time. Our intention will be to prove each and every element of all the counts which these accused persons are facing before you. My Lord, Mr. President, members of the court, some of these accused persons in whose hands arms and ammunition were entrusted for the security of the state and the people of Sierra Leone abdicated their sacred and honorable responsibility by agreeing in a WhatsApp group to overthrow the legitimate emphasis, the legitimate government of Sierra Leone by an unlawful means. I would therefore urge you, Mr. President, members of the board, my Lord, to carry out your sacred duty to determine the fate of these military personnel who were enlisted to serve man and country and who deliberately and negligently abandoned why they are called soldiers and instead turned away from the principles of good order and discipline. Mr. President, we know you all took the same oath of allegiance to serve man and country. You are well placed to know whether what oath was kept by the 6 accused persons. You, Mr. President, and members of the board, that your verdict will confine to the evidence before this court martial. On that note, my lord, Mr. President, members of the board, I end by opening on the trial of all 6 accused persons. And actually, Mr. President, my lord judge advocate. I know there are 2 sets, the first and the second set. Save for the direction, we want to proceed to this, the opening of the second, save for your direction.
Okay.
Once again, sorry sir, our witnesses are all present and we are ready to commence as will be directed by you.
All right. Thank you. What's the defense intent with respect to opening remarks? Do you want to go strictly and wait for the defense takes open and do your opening remarks? If any,
So loud.
I'm sorry? Please.
The President and members of the board, I greet you again. I'd like to foremost remind us all that the reason we're here is to unravel the truth with respect to the date for which the prosecution has alleged several offenses which is suggesting may have been committed by these 6 accused persons. Mr. President and members of the board, I know you're here to dispense what you took a secret oath for. And may I at this stage plead that you never depart from that. My Lord, Mr. President and members of the board, with my colleagues, I will represent the second and the 6th accused person. The second accused person is charged with 4 counts of mutiny, failing to suppress, and possession. My Lord, Mr. President and members of the board, the duty lies or rests on the prosecution to prove the case against these accused persons beyond reasonable doubt. It is a cardinal principle in law that he who asserts must prove. And my Lord, Mr. President and members of the board, we believe the case before us will be no exception. Mr. President and members of the board, you are going to be deciders of facts. I most respectfully urge you with humility to listen to the evidence with care and caution, to not give or look at it from just the face value, Mr. President and members of the board, but to look at the evidence that will be sent out before this court by the prosecution in conjunction with the story of each and every accused, the second and 6th accused persons. Mr. President and members of the board, I humbly urge you not to sweep under the carpet the stories of the second and the 6th accused persons. I plead with you to listen to them. It is said that there are 3 sides of the story: the prosecution side, the defense, and the truth. You are here to unravel the truth, Mr. President and members of the board. Mr. President and members of the board, yes, it is true that for the second accused person, he was operating a WhatsApp forum called Mature Group. But contrary to the belief or suggestion of the prosecution, Mr. President and members of the court, the said group was or is a social group rather than a political forum. Mr. President and members of the court, Mr. President and members of the board, I humbly again wish to urge you to, at the end of this trial, go in line with the direction of the judge advocate in relation to the law. Yes, your duty is to listen to the facts, but again, may I please remind you and your members that the direction that will be given by the judge advocate should be taken into consideration as well. Mr. President and members of the board, yes, at the time when he felt that his life was threatened, the second accused person left the jurisdiction of Sierra Leone. That is not to come into a hasty conclusion that he deserted his duties, Mr. President and members of the board. My Lord, I wish not to bore this court with the law as has already been given to you by the landed Attorney General. At this stage, I most respectfully urge your Lordship, Mr. President, members of the board, to stick to what your sacred duty before this court are. For what decision will be made here at the end of this trial will have to leave for the rest of the future generation. Mr. President and members of the board, it will go down as precedent. It will be either a good or bad one, based on the decision we make at the end of this trial. On that note, I most respectfully urge you, we are all adherents to the principles of democracy. We frown at every attempt to whittle down the characteristics of a democracy. We are not saying we will be in support of any attempt to overthrow the legitimate government of this republic. However, care should be taken to hold those who are responsible as alleged, rather than us have a conviction at all costs. I implore you to execute that sacred duty in line with your good conscience. Thank you.
Hello there, Judge Advocate, Mr. President, and members of this board. On behalf of the person who's person, I wish to remind the board that the allegations for which they are before this court, the responsibility solely lies on the prosecution to prove their case. My Lord Judge Advocate, in proving same, there must be sufficient evidence that goes beyond reasonable doubt. I wish to remind members of the board that any doubt should go in favor of the accused person. My Lord, that responsibility which they are to discharge before this honorable court begins right from the investigation
to the demeanor of the witnesses to present before this court, and the types of evidence to present before this court. Members of the board, we are urging all of you in the utmost of respect and humility to maintain fairness, the principle of natural justice. We are here not only to prove a case, but to set the record straight. And in so doing, members of the board, the presumption of innocence should be in your minds. Based on the evidence that the prosecution presents before you, those evidence will be tested and you will be retired to come into verdict. I want to also remind all of you that we are before this honorable court for specific dates and specific allegations. Those allegations should be proven within the dates alleged. My Lord, Judge Advocate, Mr. President, members of the board, we are pleading to all of you to left out emotion and let us concentrate on the law and the fact which the prosecution will present before you. We trust your judgment and we believe your justice will be served. We admit the allegation for which these accused persons stands before you are serious, and we are determined to put robust defense to their satisfaction and the satisfaction of the law. On that note, pleading to members of the bench to look at this case with an open mind and rely on the facts and the law.
Mr. Dr. Advocate and President of the Board, on behalf of the board at this proceeding, I wish to make my opening statement. Third accused person is charged with mutiny, various counts of mutiny, failure to suppress mutiny, and desertion. These are very, very serious offenses, I must admit. But then, the third accused person pleaded guilty to all, not guilty to all these offenses. My Lord, the Judge Advocate and the President of the Board, as a defense for the third accused person, we will present before you evidence suggest that the third accused person had no knowledge of the intent and purpose of the various WhatsApp group to which he was added. We will further tell this court that the third accused person denied all the allegations that were confronted him with during the course of the investigation. We already know that all the prosecution seeks to do in respect of the third accused person is to present evidence of co-accused persons. And my Lord, I submit that this evidence we choose to confront and contest in the most robust terms. My Lord, Judge Advocate and members of the board, I urge you all to ignore the court of public opinion, to look at the case before you on its merit, using the evidence that is presented before you, and to decide at the end of the day using your good consciences. You are all men of the world. You know what it means to have somebody behind bars even for a day. With that in mind, here ends my opening address.
that your role is not an easy one. Because at the end of this trial, the decisions you're going to make would mean that all or some of these accused persons will go to prison for life. If you make the right decision, it will be well and good. But if you get it wrong, it will be a terrible mistake indeed. Mr. President, members of the board, the learned Attorney General has assisted this court with the evidence of the offense that is alleged to have been committed by the accused person. He also assisted us with the law and making reference to the case of Wilmington and DPP, and indeed come by law then. In a nutshell, what he's trying to say, for these accused persons, specifically the fourth accused to be found guilty, it has to be proved beyond reasonable doubt. Beyond reasonable doubt. If you have any doubt in your mind, that doubt should be exercised in favor of the accused persons when you come back with a not guilty plea. For the learned judge, obviously the lawyer in the bosom, at some point during the course of this trial, he will explain that to you properly in a better way so that you understand. Mr. President, members of the board, the fourth accused appeared before you. Allegations of mutiny, failure to suppress mutiny, and desertion, to which he pleaded not guilty. And as he sits there standing trial, the fundamental principle of law says he is innocent until proven guilty. I often hear people, including colleagues, say justice should be seen to be done. I have a slightly different view. I say justice should not be seen to be done. Justice must be done. Anything short of that would be nothing but a travesty, an absolute travesty. So I implore you, Mr. President, members of the board, to use your good conscience, listen to the evidence, and in due course, direction from the learned judge, and make the right decision. Unless I can assist you.
Hello? Mr. President, members of the panel, Council of Justice, my learned colleagues, I, together with my colleagues, represents the big accused person, Lieutenant Leone. So, he is before this court on the court four-count charge. So, wait, mutiny, contrary to section 37(1)(a) of the Armed Forces of the Republic of Sierra Leone Act 1961, Act number 34, as amended. 2. Failure to suppress mutiny contrary to section 28(a). of the Armed Forces of the Republic of Leone Act 1961, Act number 4 of 1961, as amended. 3. Failure to suppress the mutiny, contrary to Section 38 B of the Armed Forces of the Republic of Leone Act 1961, Act number 4 of 1961, as amended. And 4. Desertion, contrary to Section 43 1A of the Armed Forces of the Republic of Leone Act number 34 of 1961, as amended. My Lord, members, Mr. President, members, and Congress, we have for respect and all of this council as to the element of the defense charge that is the I do not want to bore you with all the elements of the defense and learning. Minister of Justice has already done said. Mr. Judge of Court, Mr. President, members and panel, the body is standard of proof rests parallel on the prosecution. The fifth accused person is on an operation, saying, as you assert must prove. And in proving the case, the standard required is that beyond reasonable doubt. Why is the prosecution proving the case? It is your ultimate duty that if the evidence produced by the prosecution falls short of standard, any iota of doubt, that doubt should be resolved in favor of the accused. Mr. Judge of the Court, Mr. President, members and panel, at this point, the fifth accused person, Lieutenant Leone, has served diligently. She is an hardworking military personnel, and our loyalty to the Constitution is without question. She is diligent in the execution of her duties. It is the aim of the prosecution to defeat otherwise of her. Mr. Judge Appropriate, Mr. President, members and panel, let me give you a brief summary of the fact and why we're here. And this fact is that it is alleged by the prosecution that the fifth accused person allegedly has engaged with other persons to overthrow the government of Leone. I mean, all charges. That's not so. Lord, members, Mr. President, members of the panel, the prosecution, the only evidence that we rely on, or the only crime that my client, the accused person, has committed, is that she was the boyfriend of Coup. And secondly, she was added to some confronted not more, not less. All what the prosecution is doing sufficient solution. Lord, Mr. President, members of the panel, it is the utmost desire of the defense for the people accused person to defend this action robustly. And we hope and pray that the duty, the oath you sworn to, the duty you sworn to uphold will be discharged without favor and bias. Thank you.
Thank you. Does the prosecution intend to call witnesses in this one, or what do you want to do?
My Lord President,
But the Jordan is president of the board. Hello there. I indicated that the web of this president was a civil direction again to request kindly apply that if we come and comment with our witnesses tomorrow.
Tomorrow is on the 2nd of October, 2022 at 10 umbrella. It's right.
But guys,
Yeah.